A former aide to the New York governor, Kathy Hochul, has been arrested and charged with being an undisclosed agent of the Chinese government. Linda Sun was Ms. Hochul's deputy chief of staff and continued to work in state government until last year, when she was fired after evidence of misconduct came to light. Officials have not alleged that Ms. Hochul or Ms. Sun's work for her are linked to the arrest. There are calls for an international investigation over the deaths of almost 130 people in an attempted prison break in the Democratic Republic of Congo. 24 people were killed and the rest of the victims were either crushed or suffocated. Despite reports of mass casualties emerging on Monday, the government initially said that only 2 people had died. The European Union's naval mission in the Red Sea says an operation to salvage a burning oil tanker has been called off because it's too dangerous. The Greek tanker was abandoned by its crew after being attacked by the Houthis from Yemen almost 2 weeks ago. It's carrying about 1 million barrels of crude, raising fears of an environmental disaster.
Sir Elton John has revealed he has been left with only limited vision in one eye after a severe infection. In a post on Instagram, the 77-year-old said he was healing, but that it would take some time before his sight fully returned. Celebrities, including the fashion designer Donatella Versace, have been sending him get-well messages.
At 6, the deaths of all 72 people killed by the fire in Grenfell Tower in London were avoidable. The final verdict from the public inquiry. It says the catastrophic fire here in June 2017 was the result of a chain of failures by governments and private companies. Grenfell was on a path to disaster that began many years ago. 54 adults and 18 children died. The Prime Minister says Grenfell residents were ignored and left in a death trap. Now their families want justice.
We are traumatized. We are empty inside now. 7 years, justice delayed, justice denied.
We'll be looking at who the report says was responsible and asking whether the families of those who died will ever get real justice.
Also on the programme, more people tried to make the perilous crossing in small boats on the Channel, despite 12 people dying yesterday. The BBC learns the state pension is set for an above-inflation rise, up £400 a year.
Getting every last ounce out of herself to claim the gold medal.
And what a storied career it's been for Dame Sarah Storey, winning her 18th lifetime Paralympic gold.
On BBC London, a special programme on the damning findings of the Grenfell inquiry's final report, as bereaved families and survivors say they'll never give up fighting for justice.
Let's look at the Wednesday morning papers, shall we? And we'll start with The Guardian today, which leans with the same story as us, those terrible reports that 6 children and a pregnant woman were among at least 12 people who died after a boat carrying migrants sank in the English Channel yesterday.
On to today's Times. The government's decision to suspend some arms sales to Israel has placed it at odds with the US, it's reporting. The paper says a government source has told them that America privately warned Britain against the decision, arguing it could damage attempts to negotiate a ceasefire in Gaza. The Foreign Office says it doesn't recognise that version of its talks with the US and other allies.
The front page of the Mirror this morning leads with the news that a 14-year-old boy has been arrested on suspicion of murder following the death of 80-year-old dog walker Bim Coley in Leicestershire.
Lime bikes will be removed from the borough of Brent by the end of October unless the company addresses safety concerns, the council has warned. Brent Council said the dockless e-bikes are increasingly abandoned and parked inconsiderately, causing havoc for disabled people and pedestrians. A spokesperson for Lime said they were committed to working with the council to deliver the required improvements and that the company will provide the funding if the council installs parking bays.